Hi there, I'm Cath. Welcome to my channel made by Cath Craft. Thank you very much for joining me today. And so today I'm really looking forward to this video. It is the second in a new series I've been doing. The first one I put out about a month ago, I think. But I've been talking about different pattern companies. So I've selected a pattern company and I've been talking about the garments I've made using patterns by that pattern company and how I've got on with them, whether I've really loved them or not gone so well with them. And also I've been talking about patterns I might like to make by that pattern company too. And my first video, which I released a month ago, I did about Sew Over It. So I talked about all of my Sew Over It makes and patterns I'd like to make from them. And I'll link that video up above in case you haven't seen it. And so I'm doing my second one in the series today. And this time I've chosen to talk about Friday Pattern Company. And I'm really looking forward to sharing my makes I've made using Friday Pattern Company patterns, as well as a couple of other patterns I've gotten my eye on, and a couple of patterns that maybe I've not got my eye on so much. So to start with, I thought I'd talk a little bit about Friday Pattern Company. So I actually had a little read on their website because I didn't know too much about them, but they are a pattern company based out of Sacramento in California. And their patterns they describe as being making sewing patterns for the modern sewist, which are minimalist and easy to sew. And I know they have a really great size range. They're very size inclusive on their patterns. And they also have done some unisex patterns, which is quite cool, including the Arlo track jacket and the Ilford jacket. And I've made a few different patterns by them, but not all of them by any means. So I'm going to take you through the patterns I've made and share with you how I feel about each of those patterns first. And then after that, I'm going to share a couple of patterns I've got my eye on that I would quite like to make in the future. And also a couple of patterns that I really like the look of, but I don't think are for me for one reason or other. So yeah, let me start first of all with the first Friday Pattern Co. pattern that I made. So the first Friday Pattern Co. pattern I tried was actually a swimwear pattern. And before I tried this pattern, I wasn't really familiar with Friday Pattern Co. at all. I hadn't really come across them. But I was listening to a podcast by the New Craft House. I really like their podcast and I'll try and link it down below if I can figure out how to link a podcast. And they are a online fabric shop who sell dead stock fabric, but they also have a bricks and mortar shop and a studio in London and they run sewing classes. And they were talking about how when they run their Learn to Sew swimwear class, they always use the same pattern, which was one by Friday Pattern Co. And I'd already made some swimwear before. I had used the Megan Nielsen Cottesloe bikini, but I was looking to try another swimwear pattern. And they were talking about how this pattern by Friday Pattern Co. was a really nice one to sew and sewed up really well, which is why they used it in their classes. So I thought I'd give it a try. And it's this pattern here, which is the Vanessa two-piece. So I'll show you the line drawings. It's a bikini pattern. It's got a bikini bottom, which is designed to sit just below your belly button, so just below your waist. And it's got this really cute top, bikini top with this tie at the front. And you can make it lined or you can make it unlined, I think. And it hasn't got the Friday Pattern Company full range of sizing options because a lot of Friday Pattern Co. patterns go up to 7X. And this one only goes up to, I think, a 4X, which is for bust 54, waist 47, hips 58. So still a decent size range, but not as large as some of their later patterns. But yeah, I decided to give it a try and I really enjoyed sewing it. It came together really nicely. And I particularly found their instructions for how you insert the swimwear elastic. I found them really good and it gave a really nice finish, I thought. And they've also got a video to accompany the pattern that's on YouTube, which I'll link down below as well. And I found that video really good too. The pattern is designed for a confident beginner or an intermediate sewist. I guess you probably want to have a bit of experience of sewing with stretchy fabrics before you tried it. But yeah, I really enjoyed sewing and I've really enjoyed wearing both my versions. I've made two versions. So I decided first of all to make a toile version using some swimwear fabric I got on sale at quite a good price. I'll show you my toile version first. And I made it in this fabric here. I'll show you the bottoms first. This kind of cute navy fabric, this sort of twig or sort of leaf print on. These are my bikini bottoms. As you can see, I fully lined them. And the Friday Pattern Co. pattern takes you through how to line them and it comes together quite nicely. And then I didn't have quite enough of the fabric left over for the waistband, so I made the waistband in the lining fabric of the navy blue. And I quite like how that looks. And I'll show you the top too, although I always find with swimwear it's hard to kind of properly show on camera because it doesn't really sit very well. But here's my top. So you can see it's got this little tie feature at the front. And you can kind of tie it as tight or as loosely as you like. So there's a bit of adjustment there. But yeah, it's quite a nice little swimwear top and I find it provides enough coverage when I'm swimming with my children. It's not too skimpy. And then I made a second version in my popper fabric, which is a really lovely Liberty swimwear fabric that I got. Well, it came from System in Tarka, but I'd asked for it for Christmas a couple of years ago. My husband got it for me for Christmas because I'd spotted it and I really like the look of it. It's this really pretty fabric with this sort of orangey red background and then all these blue roses on. I just thought it was really pretty, and I always find with swimwear you don't need too much fabric, so I was able to line it in the same fabric too. There was enough to line it to. So there's my bikini bottoms there. And then again the bikini top, and because it's a bit lighter you might be able to see the tie a bit easier on this one. There's a little tie at the front. And then again it's elasticated around the arms, so you get quite a nice snug fit when you put it on. And in terms of sizing, I made the size extra small on the bust and the size small on the bikini bottoms, and that was purely based on the sizes on the pattern according to my measurements, and I found the size came out really well. I found with the Megan Nielsen Cottesloe it came up a little on the tight size, but I found with the Vanessa bikini it came up just right, so it's really comfy to wear. And I'll try and put in a picture of me wearing one of the bikinis so you can see what it looks like on. It's a really comfy one to wear, and it was a really fun sew too, so it was definitely a nice introduction to Friday Pattern Co, and it made me want to try more of their patterns. So the next Friday Pattern Co pattern I decided to try is a woven top pattern, and I think it's a bit of an indie classic. I've seen so many versions of this top and it looks great in loads of different fabrics, so I thought I'd had to give it a go. And you'll probably have guessed which one it is. It is the Sagebrush top. So it's a really nice woven top pattern with a few really pretty details. As you can see from the picture on the front, it looks great with a pair of jeans, but I think it elevates a pair of jeans because it has some really lovely little details on it. But I'll show you the line drawings. So it's quite a relaxed fit top. It's got these really big puffy sleeves with an elasticated cuff on the bottom. Then it's got sort of a crew neck, and it's got this ruffle along the front and a bit of gathering underneath. A yoke on the back too, and it's got a little tie neck, and you can see there's bias binding around the neckline there, so it's a really nice finish to the neckline too. But it's designed to sit quite loosely, there aren't any darts. Yeah, it's quite a sort of relaxed fit top. And it's got a great size range on this one. It's got the Friday Pattern Co full size range, so it goes from extra small up to a 7X, which is for a bust of 60 inches. And yeah, I was really excited to give this one a try. I chose to make the extra small, which is my bust measurement, but slightly smaller on the waist and hips. The Friday Pattern Co have the finished garment measurements on the back of their pattern, and that showed there was plenty of room at the waist and hips, even at a size extra small for me, and I didn't want to make it too oversized, so that's what I went for. And it was a really nice sew, and I'll show you my versions. So the first version I made was in a double gauze fabric that I got from Minerva, and here is my first Sagebrush top. So it's a really pretty double gauze fabric in white with these little feathers on it, which I thought was a really nice sort of detail. And you can see all the details really well on this. I think with the double gauze, because it's quite a bouncy fabric, the kind of ruffle is shown off quite well, and you can see the sort of structure and the sort of volume of the sleeve. So I think double gauze is great if you really want those features of the Sagebrush top to stand out. And it's got the bias bound neckline and the tie at the back and the little back yoke too. And yeah, quite a relaxed fit. As you can see, it's kind of quite a straight fit to it. And I really enjoy wearing this one. I'll put a picture up so you can see what it looks like on. And the only adjustment I made to this pattern when I made it was to take a little bit of volume out of the sleeves. I was a bit concerned with the sort of the double gauze being quite bouncy and showing off the volume. The sleeves might end up a little bit too voluminous for me. So yeah, I decided to take a bit of the volume out. And I've actually written a blog post sharing how I did that. So I'll link that down below in case you're interested in making this top, but maybe, yeah, making the sleeves a little bit less puffy. So that's my first version. I really enjoyed wearing that, so I decided to make another version. And I chose quite a different fabric for my second version. I'll just grab it. For my second version, I decided to make it in a rayon fabric, so it's much more drapey style Sagebrush top, and I think the details are a little bit more subtle on this one, just because the print's quite busy, and again, because there's less body to the fabric. But this is a rayon fabric that I got from System in Tarka, and it's by Cloud9. It was my first time sewing with a Cloud9 fabric, and it is just so lightweight and floaty. I think I can see why the company is called Cloud9, because it does really feel almost like a cloud. It's so light and yeah, lightweight, this fabric. It's really pretty with this sort of ditzy floral print on it. You can see, as I said, the ruffle's a bit more subtle. It's still got the bias bound neckline, but again, it's more subtle. And again, the sleeves aren't as poofy just because the fabric does drape down a little bit. So that's my second version. And I'll put a picture up so you can see how that one looks on too. I did also make the same adjustment on this one to reduce the volume in the sleeves, but I probably don't think it needed it as much just because the sleeves do drape a lot more on it. But it's a really enjoyable sew, the Sagebrush top, and it's definitely one I would like to sew again. It just goes great with a pair of shorts or a pair of jeans or a nice little skirt. Yeah, it works well with quite a lot of different things in my wardrobe, I think. The next Friday Pattern Co pattern I decided to try was the Davenport Dress. And this is one I loved as soon as it came out. I thought it looked like a really cute dress with some really pretty details, and I was quite keen to try sewing a dress pattern by Friday Pattern Co because it's not something I'd sewn before. But I'll show you the Davenport Dress details. I've got the PDF pattern for this one rather than the paper pattern. It's a really pretty dress pattern with loads of nice details. It's designed to be made in light to medium weight woven fabrics. It's got an elasticated neckband here, which makes it really easy to put on and off. There's no fastenings or zips or buttons needed for this pattern. It's got this pretty sort of yoke detail at the front and the back. It's got this flutter shoulder detail. It's got kind of balloon sleeves, so they're quite voluminous sleeves, with another little ruffle and elasticated cuff at the bottom. It's got a drawstring waist, which means it's quite easy to adjust the sizing on this one because you can just pull it in as much as needed. It's got these slash pockets, and it's got a 2-tier skirt, so lots of gathering. So generally this pattern has a lot of gathering on really, so I have said before, if you're not a big fan of gathering, it might not be one for you, but if you like a bit of gathering and you want quite a pretty, cute little dress with some pretty details that isn't too hard to fit, I definitely recommend this pattern. And it's another one with Friday Pattern Co's great size range. It goes up to a 7X like the Sagebrush top, which is for bust 60, waist 53 and hips 63 inches. It does need quite a lot of fabric though, particularly with the bottom ruffle on the skirt. That needs to be quite wide and there's quite a lot of fabric needed for that. I think you cut it in 4 pieces actually, because it's so wide for a standard length of, standard width of fabric. So that's to bear in mind if you're going to make this one. It's a really nice sew again. I always find with Friday Pattern Co patterns that each pattern has different interesting details, so you learn something new on every one. There's some really pretty details around how the yoke is enclosed on this one, which I really enjoyed sewing. So I've made 2 versions of the Davenport dress, and in terms of sizing, I sized down on this one. I made the extra small. Again, like the Sagebrush top, my bust falls into the extra small size range. My waist and hips, though, fall into the small size range instead. But looking at the finished garment measurements and knowing that the waist was adjustable with the drawstring and there's plenty of room in the hips because it's a gathered skirt, I thought the size extra small would be fine, and it definitely has been fine. I think if I made anything bigger, it might feel a bit too roomy. So I've made 2 versions and I'll show you my first version. So for my first version of the Davenport dress, I wanted to make quite a summery dress. I think it was around summertime when I was making it, so I was feeling inspired for that time of year. So I decided to use a cotton lawn. So the Davenport dress pattern recommends light to medium weight woven fabric, so I thought a cotton lawn would be perfect. I thought it'd be nice and lightweight for summer, but I thought also the little bit of crispness in the cotton lawn would show off the nice details, like a little sort of flutter shoulder detail. So I decided to use a Lady McElroy cotton lawn that I got from Minerva, and I'd sewn with a couple of Lady McElroy cotton lawns before and I really liked the quality, so I found this really summery one which has got a white base with these black spots on that I thought was quite cute. So yeah, this is my first version of the Davenport dress. I made it in the extra small, but I did make a few tweaks to this one actually, because when I originally made it, I made it with a full sleeve and everything, and I just found it kind of was a bit much and ended up wearing me with the volume of the sleeve and with the cotton lawn crispness and with the ruffles and everything. So the changes I made are, firstly, I cropped the sleeve off to just above elbow length, and instead of adding the little ruffle on the bottom of the sleeve, I just went for a simple elasticated cuff. And I also shortened it a little bit. Originally, I actually made it with a high-low hem, so yeah, it just came up a little bit at the front and then went down a little bit at the back. But I've since adjusted it a bit and just taken it to an all-round shorter length now. So yeah, it's just that little bit more cropped. Just because I found when I originally made it, the dress almost came up to a midi length. There's a picture on the front of the paper pattern which shows the dress on the model, which looks like it comes up to just maybe just above the knee. But on me, and I'm 5'6", it came up below the knee, so I was a bit surprised, and I'm not a big fan of midi on me, and I felt it just was a bit too much. So I've now brought it to fully above the knee, and I do prefer it like that, and I'll put a picture up of me wearing it. I have to be honest though, I haven't reached for this dress a lot. I mean, we didn't have the best summer ever anyway, so I didn't wear as many of my summer dresses, but this is one that would be great for slightly cooler weather because it has got the slightly longer sleeve. I don't know whether it is the cotton lawn or whether it just feels a little bit too crisp on me, or whether it's the fact that it's a white dress and I'm just worried about getting it dirty. I'm not quite sure, but I just haven't worn this one a great deal. It's not one of my favourite garments in my wardrobe. I don't think it's anything to do with the pattern. I think it's probably my fabric choice really on this one. So unfortunately, I haven't worn my first version of the Davenport dress very much. I think mainly due to my fabric choice there. but I did want to give the pattern another go and try it in another fabric and see if I would get on with it better then. So I went on to make a second version, and my second version I really love and I've got loads of wear out of, and I'm wearing it actually today. I thought it'd be quite appropriate to wear a Friday Pattern Co make when I'm filming a video talking all about that pattern company. This is my second version of the Davenport dress, and for this version I chose to make it in a viscose challis fabric, and it's turned out a lot more successful. At least I much prefer it like that on me. This viscose challis fabric I had in my stash for a while, and it came from Minerva. It's really cute. It's got this black base and it's got these little white daisy flowers on, so it's kind of like a monochromatic ditzy floral print. And I bought it originally because I think I'd been browsing the Minerva website and I saw it and thought it was quite good value. I think it's £5.99 a metre. So I bought, I think, possibly 3 metres of it, thinking, well, it'll be good for something at some point. I'll just keep it in my stash until the right project comes up. And I think it's actually still in stock at Minerva, so I'll link it down below. It's a really nice quality viscose actually, and was really nice to sew with, and is really lovely and soft to wear too. So I decided for my second version to make a wintry version of the Davenport dress because I thought it would suit the kind of black base of this fabric. So as you can see, this one has got long sleeves. And I made a couple of adjustments to this one as well. Again, I took a lot of volume out of the sleeves. They're not really a balloon sleeve anymore, they're much more fitted. And again, I went for the simple elasticated cuff rather than the extra ruffle, just to keep it a little bit more simple. And for this one, I shortened the skirt, again, a straight shortening all the way around. I basically took, I think, maybe 2 or 3 inches off the bottom ruffle. And I really love this version. It's really comfy and relaxed to wear, but I think it looks quite pretty too with all the little details. And I think the details are a bit more subtle on this one with the sort of busy print and with the sort of more drapey fabric. But I know they're there and I really like them. And I'll put a picture up of me wearing it today. I'd just been out on the school run earlier and I wore it with a pair of my Dr. Martens, so kind of chunky black boots. And I think it works really well with them too. So yeah, I'm really happy I gave this pattern a go again, and I definitely would like to make it again. And again, I'll go for a more drapey fabric like a viscose or rayon if I do make it again. So that brings me on to the final Friday Pattern Co pattern that I have made to date. And this one is a real indie classic. It's super popular and I've admired so many versions in different fabrics. But I held off for a long time on making one myself because I wasn't sure if it would suit me. But it's this pattern here, the Wilder gown. So it is a blouse and dress pattern. I'll show you the line drawings. It's designed for woven fabrics and it's quite a loose fitting dress or blouse pattern with this really pretty feature. I'll show you on the model, it's easier to see, of this sort of gathered neckline with a tie at the front that I haven't seen in the pattern. And it's got raglan sleeves and you can make them in different lengths, like a short sleeve or sort of an elbow length or long sleeve. You can either make it as a sort of loose fitting blouse or you can make it as a dress with 1 tier or 2. So there are loads of different options on this one. And it's another one with Friday Pattern Co.'s full size range. So it goes up to a 7X if you get the PDF, again with a bust of 60. So yeah, really great size range on this one. But I really wasn't sure it was for me just because it is really oversized. And I thought even with the smallest size, the finished garment measurements were really big. So I just wasn't sure if it would just wear me. But eventually I decided to give it a go just for a bit of fun and to see whether actually it might suit me better than I thought. And the pattern recommends sort of drapey woven fabrics just because it has got that oversized feel, and I guess you want it a bit floaty, particularly if you're adding the tiers on, so you wouldn't want anything too sort of stiff or structured. So I decided to make a version using some fabric I'd had in my stash that I had bought specifically to make toiles with, and it was a viscose fabric that I got from Rainbow Fabrics at a really good price. I think I bought about 3 meters of it and thought it'll be useful just to have a practice of things. And so here is my version of the Wilder gown using that fabric. It's really pretty fabric actually. It was a dead stock fabric from Nobody's Child, I think it was. And it's got this black base and then lots of really pretty florals on in different sort of summery colours. So yeah, I thought I'd just give it a go, and I decided to make the shorter version, so just with the 1 tier on. When I had a look at the pattern pieces though, it looked like it was going to come up really short, and I do like a short dress, but that looked like it was going to be really short. So I actually lengthened that dress tier a little bit just to bring it down to what I thought was an okay length. I mean, it's kind of a winter version I've made here, so I'll wear it with thick black tights, but I didn't want it to be, really, really short. So then I decided to make a long sleeve version just to make it really suitable for winter. So I think I had to lengthen the sleeve pattern a little bit just to make sure it came down to my sort of wrists. And other than that, I sewed it per the pattern. It's got the raglan sleeves. I added on a feature black tie at the front just because I thought if I added a tie in the same fabric, the fabric was so busy you might not see it, and I really wanted to show off that pretty feature of the neckline. So yeah, that's my version. I think the dress I might have lengthened by about 2.5 inches in the end. And I'll put up a picture of me wearing it. So it is drapey fabric, so I don't think it looks as oversized as it could do if I'd made it in, say, a cotton lawn or something. But I'm still not entirely comfortable in this make. I have worn it, but I'm just not sure it's exactly for me. There's quite a lot of fabric gathering around the neck, so I kind of noticed that a little bit. I don't know, but this viscose isn't the lightest weight viscose ever, so I don't know if I made it in a lighter weight viscose, say like the Cloud9 or the rayon, like the Cloud9 rayon, which is really lightweight, whether it might then feel a little less bulky around the neckline, I don't know. And I really do like the idea of making a summery version with short sleeves and maybe all the tiers and being really sort of floaty and summery. But yeah, I haven't got a great deal of wear out of this one, so I'm not sure it's one of my most successful makes, and I can't quite put my finger on what it is. I think it is quite cute, but yeah, I'm just not sure about it on me. So yeah, I think maybe for the wilder gown, it's one of those patterns I'll just have to continue admiring on other people rather than on myself. There's a little bit of me that does really fancy making a summery version in the short sleeves in a really lightweight viscose, so that might be something on the cards at some point if I see just the right fabric that kind of speaks to me. But for now, I think it's probably not my most successful make out of Friday Pattern Co. patterns. So that is all of the Friday Pattern Co. patterns I have sewn to date. But I thought I'd also share a couple of patterns I've got my eye on that I might like to sew in the future. And the first one is the Friday Pattern Co. square neck top, and I'll put a picture up so you can see what it looks like. It's a really cute boxy shaped top with grown on sleeves, and it's got this really pretty feature square neckline. I think it's a really nice feature, and I've not sewn a square neckline before, so I quite like the idea of trying that one. And what's really cool about this pattern is you can make it in knit or woven fabric, so I quite like that flexibility. And it's also got a really good size range. It's got the full up to 7X size range, and there's also 2 cup options available, and there's an A to B cup and a C to D cup option. I really like the idea of giving that one a try. I think I'd probably try it in a woven fabric first. I think it would be a really nice one to wear with a pair of jeans and make the pair of jeans a little bit different with that feature square neck. The second pattern that I really like the look of, and it came out more recently, is, I think it's their latest pattern release actually, is the Patina blouse. And again, I'll put up a picture of that one. It's a really pretty blouse pattern. You can make it either in short sleeved or in long sleeve with kind of voluminous sleeve and a cuff. And the really pretty detail on this one, again like the square neck top, is the neckline I think, but this one has got this really nice collar, and it's a bit different with the sort of sharp sort of edges I think. And I thought it was interesting when I was looking on the pattern, I hadn't realised before, the collar comes in 2 depth options, so you can either make a deeper one or a slightly more shallow one, which is quite cool. So I really like the look of that one when it came out, and I've seen some really pretty versions, but there's just something that held me back from buying it. And I think it might be that I don't often wear blouses. It's not something I reach for in my wardrobe a lot, and I've got a few blouses already, so I thought it's probably not one I would get a lot of wear out of if I did make. That's probably the only thing holding me back on that one, but I do think it's a really pretty looking pattern. So I think the Patina blouse pattern might be one of those patterns that I hold off on for now, but I can't resist in the end once I've seen too many pretty versions on other people, so we'll see how I get on with that one. I really don't need any more blouse patterns, but sometimes it's just hard to resist on these things I find. But I thought while I'm on, I'd also share a couple of Friday Pattern Co. patterns that I really love the look of, but that I've decided aren't for me for one reason or other, because I thought that might be interesting too. And the first one of those patterns is a knit blouse pattern. It's their Adrian blouse, and I'll put up a picture so you can see what it looks like. So it's a blouse which has quite a close fitting body, but it's got these loose billowy statement sleeves that are sort of secured with elastic at the cuff and then also elastic on the shoulder too. And I have seen so many beautiful versions of this blouse, and I think it's such a lovely, pretty feature top. But for me, I'm not there with the statement sleeves yet. Whenever I've made something that has got volume in the sleeves, I just don't find it's me. So I think it's one of those patterns that looks so lovely and is really different and a bit unusual, but I think I probably won't make it myself. And another one of Friday Pattern Co.'s patterns I've admired so many versions of and I really like the look of is the Ilford Jacket. And that is one of their unisex patterns, so it's designed to be worn by both men and women, and I'll put up a line drawing so you can see what it looks like. It's got quite a boxy shape with dropped shoulders, and it's got a modular design, so you can kind of pick and choose different features on it, so it's a really flexible one. And I found it can look really different depending on what fabric you choose. So I've seen it looking more like a shirt and more like a jacket, and I've seen jacket versions too, so yeah, quite a lot of flexibility for this pattern. And although I really love the look of it, I'm just not sure I'm a jacket type person. I think the shape will be a bit too square and boxy, and I've got quite angular shoulders already, so I try not to wear anything that is too square or boxy because I just feel it looks a little bit too angular on me. which is a real shame because I've admired so many shackets. I know they're really trendy at the moment and they look really great on other people. And I think it'll be a really cool pattern to try with all the different options. I think it'll be a lot of fun choosing which options you go for. So it's another pattern I'll continue to admire for other people. I guess I could technically make a version for my husband, but I'm not sure he's like a jacket kind of guy. So I'm not sure I'd be able to persuade him to get that, for me to get that pattern just for him either. But it's one I'll continue to admire as I see other people make it on Instagram. So that is my roundup of Friday Pattern Co patterns, the ones I've made and how I feel about them, the ones I would like to make, and the ones that I'll have to continue admiring from afar. But overall, I really like Friday Pattern Co patterns. I think they're really enjoyable to sew. I always get excited when they release new patterns, so I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for what they bring out next. So I hope you've enjoyed hearing a little bit about Friday Pattern Co and the patterns I've made. I've really enjoyed sharing it with you guys. If you have enjoyed it, I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and would like to hear more sewing related content, I would love it if you would subscribe, and also if you press the bell icon, you'll be notified when I bring up my future videos. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day and I'll hopefully see you again soon. Bye!